Have you ever stopped, truly stopped, and looked within yourselves? Have you ever found a moment to silence the whirlwind of everyday life and seek stillness? It is in this stillness that a profound truth resides, not in superficial thoughts, but in the depths of our being. It is there that the true answers lie, beyond everyday worries and anxieties. A place we often ignore, but which is always present, ready to be discovered. I did this. It was a moment that changed everything, an instant of clarity, where the world around me stopped and I could glimpse the essence of my being. It was as if a veil had been lifted, and I finally saw the world as it truly is. The world, once familiar, was transformed into a canvas of wonder. Every tree, every river, every mountain seemed to tell a story of beauty and connection. It was as if nature itself was speaking to me, inviting me to be part of its grandeur. The I, the ego to which I clung so tightly, began to dissolve. It was a liberating feeling, as if I were letting go of a weight, of the constant need to assert myself. At that moment, I understood that the ego is just an illusion, a mask we wear. It is not about denying the ego, but about understanding it. To realize that it is only a part of us and not the totality of our being. A tool that helps us navigate the world, but does not define us. The ego, with its desires and fears, is not our enemy. It is a part of us that often leads us to act in the wrong way. But it is also a part that drives us to grow. It shows us our weaknesses and strengths, our dreams and fears. It is a piece of us, a step in our journey, a journey towards a deeper understanding of ourselves, a journey that reveals to us that true awakening lies in integrating the ego, not fighting it. True awakening lies in recognizing its limits, in realizing that we are more than our thoughts and feelings, that we are part of something much bigger, connected to everything that exists. It is in this state of awareness that true freedom resides, true enlightenment. The ego feeds on separation. It builds walls between you and me, us and them. It craves definition, needs to name and categorize to solidify its own existence. But this is an illusion, a dream we choose to believe together. We get so caught up in the ego's narrative that we mistake it for reality. We believe we are separate from the world around us, forgetting that we are all interconnected threads in the tapestry of existence. The ego loves duality. It thrives on the illusion of good versus evil, right versus wrong. It tells us we constantly need to choose a side, fueling a cycle of judgment and conflict. But what if we could look beyond these labels? What if we could recognize that within each opposite lies the seed of its opposite? Light cannot exist without darkness, just as joy cannot exist without sadness. They are two sides of the same coin, inseparable and eternally interconnected. Look around. What do you see? Joy, sadness, anger, love. These experiences are reflections of our inner world. Every encounter, every interaction is a mirror, showing us aspects of ourselves. When we judge others, we are actually judging a part of ourselves that we have not yet fully accepted. When we respond to anger with anger, we are only amplifying the negativity within and around us. Chapter 5. The Weight of Our World. We carry the weight of our thoughts, words, and actions. Every decision, no matter how small, creates ripples that spread throughout the world around us. It is a great responsibility from which the ego often tries to escape. It is easier to blame others, point the finger, and make excuses. But true freedom lies in recognizing our role in creating our reality. We are not just victims of circumstance, but active participants in the unfolding of our lives. Chapter 6. The Choice Point. Every moment presents us with a choice. We can choose to react from the ego, perpetuating the cycle of separation and suffering. Or we can choose to respond from an awareness of the interconnectedness of all things. It is not about seeking an unattainable perfection, but about cultivating a gentle awareness of our thoughts, words, and actions. It is about pausing before reacting, choosing kindness over judgment and forgiveness over blame. Chapter 7. Seeds of Awareness. Imagine your mind as a garden that can hold both beauty and chaos, depending on how we cultivate it. Every thought is a seed. These seeds have the potential to blossom into something magnificent if we give them the proper attention. Thoughts rooted in fear, anger, and judgment will bear bitter fruit. They will disturb our inner peace and affect our well-being. But thoughts nurtured with love, compassion, and understanding will blossom into something beautiful. These positive thoughts promote harmony and contentment in our lives. The practice of mindfulness involves tending to our inner garden. It is a conscious choice to sow and cultivate the seeds of awareness. It is about being aware of the seeds we plant each moment and taking responsibility for our mental well-being, and choosing to nourish those that lead to greater peace within and around us. By being mindful, we can improve the quality of our thoughts and live a more fulfilling life. Mindfulness is like watering and tending to our garden daily. It requires patience, dedication, and a willingness for continuous growth. So, let's sow the seeds of mindfulness and transform our inner garden into a sanctuary of peace and beauty. Chapter 8. The Garden Within. As we become more aware of our inner landscape, we begin to perceive the interconnectedness of all things. We realize that the same life force that flows through us also flows through every creature, every blade of grass, every grain of sand. This understanding is not just intellectual, but visceral. It is a feeling of oneness that permeates our being, dissolving the illusion of separation and revealing the interconnectedness of all creation. Chapter 9. Harvesting Self-Responsibility. With awareness comes responsibility. When we become aware of our own power, we can no longer blame external circumstances for our suffering. We recognize that true change begins within us. It is not about self-blame, but about empowerment. When we take responsibility for our thoughts, words, and actions, we become active creators of our reality and shape our lives and the world around us with intention. Chapter 10. Embracing Unity. The path of awakening is not about achieving a distant state of perfection. It is about embracing the totality of who we are, ego and all. It is about recognizing that even the ego, with all its limitations, has a purpose. It is through the journey of separation from the ego that we learn to appreciate the beauty of unity. It is through the experience of suffering that we learn to value compassion. It is through the darkness that we learn to appreciate the light. Chapter 11. Beyond the Ego. True awakening is not about transcending the ego, but about integrating it. It is a misconception to believe that we need to get rid of our ego to grow spiritually. Instead, we must learn to understand it and work with it. It is about recognizing that we are both the wave and the ocean, that we embody both individual experiences and collective consciousness. Each wave is unique, yet they are all part of the vast ocean. The dancer and the dance. The dance of life is a constant interplay between the self and the universe, between the individual and the whole. We are both the individual expression of life and the unified field of awareness from which all life emerges. Within each of us lies the potential of the entire universe, from which all life emerges. When we recognize this connection, we begin to understand the true nature of our existence. We are not separate from the world around us. but an integral part of it. When we open ourselves to this truth, we are overcome with a deep sense of peace. This peace comes from the knowledge that we are exactly where we are supposed to be, and that we are part of something much greater. We realize that we are already home, that we have always been and always will be a part of this universe. This sense of belonging brings a profound inner peace. We have always been and always will be. The timeless nature of our existence becomes clear when we recognize the eternity in each moment. We are one with the universe, and the universe is one with us. This understanding opens us to the infinite possibilities that life has to offer, and the universe is one with us. In this unity, we find the strength and inspiration to live our lives in harmony with all that is.